Oh, sorry, diluted is there. I just left this up for some reason from yesterday. Hold on. There he is.
Stitched me up, man. You know, didn't send me the link. Didn't let me be here from the start. You see how she treats her guest people. I told you about this.
That is so funny. Sorry about that. But hey, guys, welcome to another live show, another live She Knows Arsenal. Third stream of the day. Did a show with Mo, Nina was on, Kel was on, and Staffy was on. And so make sure you guys check that out after. And then me and Diluted just got off of his channel. Make sure you guys check that out after this one. We talked about we haven't talked about it yet, but always some similar things and some different things. So make sure you guys check that out as well and support his channel. Yeah, but what's going on? How are you feeling post North London Derby? Do you know how many Tottenham fans do you know in real life?
Bare man, like family members, friends. Bare man, you talk like you put a number on it. Over 20, like bare man, lots, man, lots, ridiculous, man. My niece supports Spurs. I'm converting them, but they support Spurs.
Did you text them and did you say?
Yeah. I tried to call them on my live stream. The older one didn't pick up. Yeah, I'm a troll, man. You know me.
Yeah, I don't ever really feel like the same. Like, obviously, I hate them, but like, because I don't know any Tottenham fans, and they're just so irrelevant. I'm just like, just beat these guys. Like, they're so shit. No matter how bad we are, I always feel like we got a chance against Spurs, though. You know, because they're just not. They're not it. You know, so they were shocking, and we were okay. You know, I actually feel like we played. It's gonna sound so bad because like. Glass half full, we played well in terms of like building up and defending and all that kind of stuff. Glass half empty is the clown show up front. You know, where do you kind of, because I mean, I've seen you like, you know, tweet about the lack of shots and stuff like that. How do you think it's just the lack of quality up there, or do you generally think that like we just don't take enough shots, and if we did, we do a lot better?
How long you got, Jess, man? I think it's a mixture of a couple of things, man. I feel there's a lot Arteta has to do from a coaching front, because I don't necessarily believe that if we signed whatever striker we all want and whatever winger we all want, that we're happy as Larry. Everything's great. If I'm honest with you, I think there's stuff on a coaching front, and I think it's a weird one in that we are creating we are having a lot of shots, but the shots that we're having to the shots on target ratio is dead. We're creating, for all the shots, more time it's our defenders. And how many clear-cut efforts are we really creating? It's like 2-3 a game now. At present moment, we're having 2-3 chances a game, more or less, and we've got players that aren't clinical. So I think it's a mixture of things, Jess, if I'm real, man. It's a mixture of things.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't even necessarily feel like the chances, because we were talking about this on the match reaction, that the chances that we created against Spurs were not our typical patterns of play. They were more like pressing, and they would get into a bad situation, and then it was right there, but we couldn't kick it in the back of the net. And somebody was like, it's not really a talent thing. And I'm like, but it's something. It's
Talent plays a
something.
massive part, Jess, man. Come on now.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm not gonna call them clowns like you did, but you've got Kai Havertz, you've got an out of it Sterling, and you've got Trossard, who big him up for the turn on Puro, and obviously scoring, hasn't been doing it this season. I'm at the point can I really blame the players? Of course I can, but they didn't sign themselves. They didn't get themselves in this scenario where if there is injuries, that is our front three. So it's a mixture of things, Jess, man. Like, I agree with you. Yesterday, I feel there was a bit more energy. I feel it was kind of on brand, really, and how, really, I think it was kind of like United and Newcastle. Like, we suffocated them. We had them in their own half. The mentality was kind of there. But then if I'm looking for negatives, as you've been alluding to, it's the same attacking issues we faced. Yeah. And if I'm being really, really, really harsh, I know Brighton got a penalty. I know we turned it around against Brentford. It feels like another at Fulham as well, from what I'm about to say. It feels like another game where we start well. The opposition has one opportunity and they pull it in the back of the net, which they initially did with Son.
Yeah, it feels like I think where the talent thing comes in is, boys saying finishing as a talent, we have to buy it.
Amen.
But as though I do believe that. I think when you look at yesterday, some of the chances that we had where it was just bobbling around, I don't think that a confident Havertz does what he did yesterday and can't get it out from underneath his feet. I don't think a confident Sterling can't just kick it in the back of the net. I don't think a confident Odegaard, you know what I mean? And we got to this point, and I want to ask you about this because you've spoken about confidence players before, but do you think we have too many players up front in those attacking positions that are confidence players that literally offers little when they're not in a good place? They can't just get on with it. Because I could have kicked the ball in the back of the net from standing right there, but Havertz was falling over himself, and that's you know what I mean. Like, I don't think you need to be a world-class striker to kick the ball in the back of the net right then when you just press Klinsky or whatever his name is into a mistake. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're bang on the money in that. I think everyone in life, let alone footballer, clearly, if you're confident, if your things are going well, you're going to have a bit more confidence. If everything's going wrong, there's going to be issues. But 100%, we know what we've got. With the exception of Sterling, who just signed for our club, we know over a 38-game period, Trossard, Havertz, maybe not so much Martinelli, Jesus, maybe not so much, but these guys, 5-10 games, they'll be amazing. The next 5-10 games, it is what it is. And it's just a bunch of mixed opportunities. So it's like when you assemble this, and we've seen it already, it can't be much different. But you are right. Like, confidence is shot. You've got players who can't score on the best of days, and confidence. And we saw, what was it, December of last year? Yeah, December of last year, the turn of this year, where the same players that were missing chances against West Ham and Liverpool, yeah, we smashed in a lot of teams, but there was 4 or 5 games where everyone was bagging. So we've seen this movie before, Jess. Like, how much times are we gonna watch the same movie and hope for a different ending?
Yeah, and it's just I feel like, I don't know, because we're talking a lot about trying to understand why so-and-so isn't confident. What's going on with Odegaard? Why is he looking like this? What's going on with
one, yeah.
Why is he looking like this? Why aren't they confident? Why is Martinelli looking like this? You know who I never asked those questions about?
Declan. I know this again.
Gabriel. Sleep. I don't ever ask those questions about them. They got kids. They get married. They got that stuff. You know what I mean? They have lives, but I don't ever have to ask what's going on with them. If they make a mistake, Like Gabriel, people were bringing up the Newcastle or the Manchester United goal. I was like, and he made it up instantly. He scored instantly. That's what
Man,
I'm talking
mistakes
about.
happen. It's football.
Yeah, like our attackers live in like large periods of no confidence where our defenders don't.
There's
And
more
I just,
consistency. Yeah.
yeah, we need the same. And I feel like it's a talent thing. And that makes sense because we spend a lot more money in the back. I mean, my goodness, Timber, MLS, Saliba, and Gabrielle, they are
Yep.
so good, you know? And it's not just because they have the confidence, but I think you get confidence from knowing you're that guy. I think it's very rare that you're shit, but you have a lot of confidence, you know? And maybe it's a little bit of like imposter syndrome from Havertz. He knows he's on high wages and he's not that guy, you
Should
know,
you have
kind of.
that though, Jess? That you're a German international, you're a Champions League winner, you're all of these things. You've been around, you've been one of those wonder kids as well. I don't know how Leverkusen is viewed in Germany, but I'd imagine it's one of the bigger teams. Should you really have that? And obviously, the manager, like as much as, and again, I'm not talking about those people that is abusing him and his wife. We all know they're twats, yeah. But as much as the fans' opinion matters and all of this, as long as the manager believes in you, you
Yeah.
should be confident, and especially off the back of last season. Now, naturally, of course, he knows to a degree I'm going to get scapegoated. Goals are not a strong point of his. Like, Kai can do all the other stuff Mikel Arteta wants as a striker, but he can't put the ball in the back of the net. That's what wins us games. That's what wins you titles. That's what's the hardest thing to do. And I must admit, if there was one frustration I have of Mikel Arteta beyond the obvious, it's when he sits here, Justin, and says, you need a bit of luck, fine margins, small margins, all in relation to scoring goals. But none of these guys are clinical. The only one that is anything close to being a clinical man in that squad, we're missing. And it broke my heart to see Saka on crutches.
Yeah, definitely 100%. Seeing him on crutches was like reality check that he's not coming back anytime
He's not
soon.
coming back anytime soon, buddy.
Yeah, we don't need to be trying to, he's coming back in February again. No. And I don't want him rushed back. This is such an important moment. If we fuck this up, we could fuck up his whole shit. So let's not rush him back. But yeah, I think it's important to, go into the next part of whatever it is whenever we get these attackers and make sure that it's not just the talent is there, but also that mentality is there. You need people that the final action comes naturally, players that you don't have to coach into something different, and people that back themselves, to get it done. And I just think not just Havertz, but multiple of our attackers just don't have that about them. And that's why our defense is so much better than, our attack, because they back themselves. I mean, the way that MLS and Timber were just bullying them. Like, I love that. Nothing makes me
Timber
happier.
in the last North London derby as well, man. Like, them man are mentality monsters. I know Saliba's not screaming and shouting, but he's got the aura. Obviously, Raya backs himself. If anything, just as you was mentioning about like our defenders, I was trying to think, has there been a defender that's probably lacked confidence? Maybe Kivior and Zini, but they're not the main guys. I remember Raya speaking in an interview how obviously him signing for the club, he had that, but they just believe in themselves. I'm not saying, do you know what? We don't know. Maybe Gabriel's insecure, but they seem like they get it.
Yeah, Gabriel. I don't know about
in a nice way. Love him.
Yeah, that guy is something else. I mean,
all of them. Big up MLS, as you've been saying.
Yeah,
he's fresh out the womb and he's looking like he's been playing 100 times for Arsenal. He's doing, and it's not even just the North London derby. Like, he did it against Liverpool. The minute he made his debut in the Prem, he's ready to smash Haaland in. He just gets it. Certain man just get it, certain man don't. Like,
yeah, he really does get it, and he's just like, because I do want to talk a little bit about MLS and Gabriel for him, because I just think it's not even just these performances, but like they are putting together a nice little run of some decent stuff. MLS just, somebody in the stream yesterday was like, he's arrogant, and I'm like, we need more of that.
Bring that. Keep doing that.
Yeah, I don't want them to humble themselves. We don't need any more players that need permission to be good. We need players that just know that they have it. And MLS, just from the technical ability to the physicality to the passing and footballing IQ, he just kind of has it all.
He gets it,
man. Yeah.
It's the self-belief. Like, obviously, he strikes me as someone that obviously has arrogance, but knows he's got a long way to go, learns from everyone. But you can see he sat there and said, you know what? My teammates are more experienced than me. They've been bought for big money, but I'm here for a reason. However life's panned out, I'm here for a reason. Let me go do my thing. And even obviously, we all saw what he was doing in the North London derby, you know, in terms of the verbal. But even him after the game, he's like, my grandma is saying that I can't be soft. I need to clamp and whatnot. I just think it comes to, some of it is down to upbringing. And I think in Lewis-Skelly's case, some people are born with it, some people are not, man. And that's where I kind of wish we got to see how players interact and see what they're like. Because Kai does seem like kind of shy. He's got a couple of friends in the team, but he's not really a dog like that with everybody. But yeah, we need more, man. We all know we need more, and we need more arrogant attackers.
Yeah, for sure. None of this humble nonsense. Like, Kulusevski is one of the best like attackers in the league, or has been this season. He had him locked up.
And he literally tried to put Sarr in his pocket as well.
Yes, like it moved me. I was like, this guy, he just has it. Does Calafiori have a battle on his hands to get back into this team, you think? Or what is your feeling on that?
100%. Obviously, you know, Lewis-Skelly, thank the Lord that you've been at Arsenal Football Club, because obviously to get your chance as a footballer, you've got to take it. And the injuries have been there for Ethan and Lewis-Skelly to take advantage of. If everything panned out, we don't know where we'd be with MLS. Calafiori's definitely got a battle. Because you can't, regardless of my man being bought for 40 million, Italian international, if they're both fit right now going into the Villa game and beyond that, you can't 100% say Calafiori starts over him. 100%. You got to earn your spot back. The only thing that's going to put MLS out that team is if Arteta changes things for no reason, or naturally as a young player, fatigue, games are coming thick and fast. But if we was in a cup final tomorrow, reactionary or not, Lewis-Skelly starts for me.
100%. I mean, he's just so good. Like, does that mean that we wasted money on Calafiori? Because I've seen a lot of people saying that, like, oh, well, we shouldn't have bought Calafiori because MLS was just there. Like, how did Arteta see it? Like, do you think, is that too far? Is it projection? Should the club be able to see somebody like MLS coming through and say, maybe we don't need to spend 37 million on Calafiori. Maybe we should, you know, attribute those finances somewhere else. You know, where do you stand kind of like on that?
It's on brand, really, because you could argue, you know, with kind of what you were saying on my stream, with austerity measures or us having to be a bit smart with our budget. Did you need another left back? Did you know? So I hear all of that. Me, I wanted another left back, and I know Lewis-Skelly's coming through now, but I think Calafiori will show his quality. I do think we needed another one. Obviously, he can play as a centre half, but the man ain't been fit. Lewis-Skelly looks better than you right now. I hear why fans would say that. For me, he'll show his quality. I genuinely believe in Calafiori. The man's 22. Like, I'm going to allow him. And nobody was saying that against PSG. We need a squad. Obviously, Lewis-Skelly is showing he can play left back. Obviously, you know, he will play in midfield one day. We need adaptability. And to be fair, maybe he could have got more game time. But I remember in the summer, like ORNSTEIN, all them guys were coming out and saying the club see Lewis-Skelly as someone that can play as an inverted left back. So it's all worked out to a degree, isn't it?
What I like about this situation is that it should give us more wiggle room for the summer. Because when you think like Calafiori and MLS being able to play left back, but also play other positions where we need backfill, like meaning if you lose both Partey and Jorginho, you only have to buy one DM and not another, or try to figure out something else. I think that's really useful. I really think Shamaria makes a really good point that we just can accept that we have two talented players. I think Arsenal fans, maybe we're not used to it, but there's no real reason to be like, I remember somebody I was on a stream with crashed out over Timber being so good because they were like, now Ben White's going to want to leave. And I'm just like, first of all, Ben White ain't going nowhere. Let's be so freaking for real.
We're trying to be a team that competes for 4 trophies. There's 38 games. And I agree, because that was all the talk in the summer. But look at all the games and all the narratives and all the injuries, and not even just injuries, having to change things in games. You need a squad. Like, we need a squad. So, yeah, man, Absolutely. Thank the Lord for Ethan and MLS doing their thing, man.
Yeah, and Boy makes a good point that 2 talented players is fine. It's the excess that needs to be gotten rid of. And if you guys haven't been like paying attention, or like you're not on chronically online like I am, Tierney to Celtic looks like a done deal, but it'll probably be in the summer. They're trying to do a pre-contract now so that they can get him in the summer. Zinchenko has been looked at by Dortmund for multiple windows now. They want a loan with an obligation for 20 million euros. And And so we are going to have some exits in that position, but it's not so many exits that it's going to be like we need to fully rebuild on that side or anything like that, because we have Lewis-Skelly and Calafiori. Does that, for you, would you go into the next window, the summer window, and say we don't need to bring in another defender then, since we have these other players, that can cover these positions?
Unpopular opinion, I think we need another defender. Ideally, somebody bit like Timber, Tomiyasu, you can play across the back four. I don't know who that is. I don't know the profile. I think we could do with one more, because there's been times we've hardly had anyone. Like I do think we could get that, but I do think, like what somebody said in the comments, there are a couple of players, whether it's down to Lewis-Skelly's emergence or us just moving away from them, you probably could afford to sell, and it'll be interesting, man. Because what naturally Tierney's gone. I don't think the club will force Kivior out, but they'll be open to offers. I can as much as I love Tomiyasu, I can understand if people say, you know what, durability is the only thing that matters. You've got to go. And I'd imagine the club have made a decision on Zinchenko already. 2 years left on his deal. I don't think he's a highest earner at the club, but naturally it's a chance for the Partey's and him and Tierney to all leave and just to have more resources. So yeah, man, I'm not against another defender, but I think left back was somewhat sorted, man.
Yeah, for sure. Somebody on the right.
Yeah, more so than anything.
More so on the right. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I, as much as it may sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth as well, I also do agree that we probably still need another defender. Where I think that this is better is that we don't have to buy more DMs other than Zubimendi.
Careful, you know the gaffer, man.
Yeah, I can't. I was seeing people like, gotta get Partey replacement and Jorginho replacement. We got too many DMs.
1-6, get me at 8. But I don't think we're gonna get more another 8. I don't think we're gonna get another midfielder. I think that's it between MLS, Rice. Assuming the Zubimendi thing happens,
we'll move Havertz there. They shouldn't, but they will.
And him.
You're right. Yeah.
So, we're trying again with Kai, 100% in midfield. 100%.
Just know that the epic crash outs are coming. Because one thing, it's like, I don't know what it is, but I'm very strict about midfield. I don't know what it is.
You're not wrong.
Strict. Midfield needs to be something specific. And I'm not seeing it.
Look at the midfielders we've seen, Jess, whether it's the more physical Vieiras and all of that, or the Santis and all of them, to what we see now, respectfully to the existing options. It's a bit of pill to swallow for me. It is quite frustrating seeing them.
Very, very. Talk to me a little bit more about Gabriel, though. I don't think we have enough time. Like, it wasn't too long ago. First of all, there were people saying like last year that Cutie Romero is better than Gabriel. Van de Ven is better than
Right, even that as well, just people were saying internally, when they were doing their tactician stuff, Gabriel's a player Mikel Arteta will upgrade upon maybe one day, but the man's got better and better week in, week out. I won't quite say he's underrated now, but I used to make videos every week saying the man is underrated at our club. He's only recently got a chance. The man's amazing, a mentality monster, a dog, like somebody that gets it. I mean, the man's Brazilian, innit, at the end of the day. But I do think British fans, if you don't come from England, we question if you get it like that. The man gets it. Like, it's Gabriel, innit? Like, I pick him up. He's scoring goals for us 9 times out of 10. Maybe not so much this season, but when we're trying to drive the ball forward, he's involved in that. Like, big up Gabriel, man. Like, it's unfortunate that it's fortunate, but it's unfortunate that you've got Saliba next to you, because I don't think you're gonna get your flowers. I don't quite think Saliba will be better than him, but I do think that when we're talking about if we don't win trophies, Saka and this one and that one could leave, I think people leave Gabriel's name out, especially because they're left-sided centre half as well. Like I can't praise him enough, man. Big him up.
How important, how rare it is to find. First of all, we are very, I wouldn't want to say lucky, but look at how Chelsea has bought like 1 million center backs and they're still buying more, because everybody wants the Gabriel Saliba effect, but it's not easy to find.
It took a while. Yeah, Gabriel had to be trained. Saliba went on a couple loans, but it's worked. We got some great defensive options generally.
Try to find players like that for 27 million now. And it's just, we're very, I don't want to say lucky, but we're in a good place with those two at the minute. Gabriel is like, this is going to probably sound weird. You'll let me know if you agree, but Gabriel was pretty much like the first player in this project, I feel, because he was the first one that Arteta really bought. Willian came out on a free. Then we bought Gabriel. Then we bought Thomas Partey in the midst of COVID.
Yeah, he's been here from the duration kind of thing since we tried
5 years. I think he's Mikel Arteta's best value for money signing. 100%. I
Can't
think he
disagree
is.
really. Who's there? Like, who would be the candidates? Like, what, Gabriel be thrown into it? You
Like
could
Gabriel,
maybe Odegaard,
Odegaard, but even Odegaard to a certain extent.
maybe
I don't
Benjamin
think.
White. No one cares
Yeah,
about 50 million anymore.
yeah. I think
Maybe even Trossard, you know.
value for money. That guy is. We're
He's up
getting
there.
because we're not even just getting good defense. We're getting goals too. Usually fit as
Thank the
well.
Lord, didn't it? Yeah,
Good
yeah. Thank the
record.
Lord.
Yeah. So Gabriel to me, he deserves more flowers, especially because he wasn't this player when he first got here. He wasn't he was at Leo and wasn't really looked at as like some super amazing prospect, but his on the ball has gotten a lot better. He contributes goals and he is our leader back there as far as I'm concerned. He is the guy that sets the tempo. Saliba is the more of like the sweeper, fancy, cool, calm, collected. Gabriel is the warrior back there, and
The
that's why
ugly
that
one
yin and
in
yang
a
is
nice way.
so. Yeah, yeah. Gabriel is one of Arteta's, if not Arteta's best signing.
And it shows the coaching, man. I do think, we've come a long way with Gabriel. Yeah, he did need to make mistakes. I see someone in the chat saying he made a mistake against United, which he did. I'm sure if we go through every goal this season, nobody's been faultless. I love Lewis-Skelly. I can mention Liverpool, can mention that with Gabriel as well. Mistakes happen in it, but the mistakes Gabriel makes to the quality is cool. He's pulling his weight. Like any footballer that's never made a mistake, that's like an investment banker wanting me to invest money, and you're telling me you've never lost out. Everything you've done is touch the gold. It don't make sense. Big up Gabriel, man. Quality guy. And just, you know what that shows? When you actually have competent scouting and you actually listen, good things can happen, man. Don't know about now,
Yeah,
though.
yeah. Because listen, I don't know if we could replicate buying Saliba and Gabriel again. I just don't know. I don't think we have it. It was a different recruitment group. It was a different time, but I'm glad we have it because I really want us to win something. I really need to see those players lift a trophy because they're just fabulous. They're so good. You
Trophies.
know?
You're right, but me and trophies right now, we've got a toxic relationship. And on one hand, I love the club. I really love Arsenal, love it. But on the other hand, like yourself, we want strikers, we want attackers, we want to win titles. None of us work for Arsenal and can change things. So how angry can I get when we inevitably don't win trophies? Because it's not in my control, man.
Yeah.
Speak.
100%. Boys saying you man that don't want SESKO are brazy to be honest. OGN says I've seen Virgil van Dijk make mistakes, but still think he's the best CB in the world.
Mistakes happen,
Zier
bro.
says SESKO is a bum. Burmese says having defensive options is beneficial. Kala left back, center back, MLS left back, left center mid, Timber both sides, Ben White, both positions on the right. I agree. I don't think we have a defensive problem. I think despite having so many injuries and even conceding soft goals, we're still the best defensive side in the league. We've conceded the least amount of goals, which is pretty insane.
Our problem is how we win games, man. Just put the ball in the back of the net, man.
Yeah,
We have
100%.
fallen off a cliff defensively. I'll be real. I think as a whole team, like our whole ethos, I do think we have.
I definitely hear that. What do you think of the comments that Declan made after the game? First of all, I like vocal players. Sometimes Declan is too big of a chatter, like he is a
He'll be on Love
yapper.
Island one day. He chats too much, but I love him.
Yeah, he does chat a lot. But I like the pressure, almost like the slight pressure that he put on the club to make a signing. And he also told, I guess, the content creators like me to shove it about Kai Havertz because we ain't real.
Nah, I disagree with that, Jess, because you can have your criticisms of Kai Havertz, like many people, but I've equally seen you sit here and myself praise him. You can say on one hand, he shouldn't have been bought. He's not the difference maker. I think Declan Rice was saying, because I'm even hearing some people saying things like, oh, it means he's saying if you don't go to games, you're not a real fan. I understand that it could go that way, but I think he's saying it as a thing where real Arsenal fans are going to have constructive criticism. They're not going to do too much with the Kai Havertz thing, abusing his family members and him. I think he's getting at them. And based on what you said there, maybe it affected Kai more than I thought, because Arteta in the press conference said something in the build up to the game. Rice has come come out as well. I do think he talks too much. And I agree with you in that, in a sly little way, Declan Rice is saying kind of we need help because the players are not idiots. They might be full of optimism, but they're like, "Rah, we lost Saka. We know our squad's small. Can we really win the title?" I think they're letting us know we need things, man.
Absolutely. I love that he said that, and because it is at this stage, it's negligence to have Tierney coming out there playing left wing.
It's incompetence and naivety.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I was calling for it too. And I was like, I sound freaking crazy right now. I'm like, fuck it, put Tierney at left wing. Like, I just need something else. I can't watch anymore. And listen, I know Trossard, before he got that Cruyff off, he was playing against us.
That's harsh, man.
He was. The first 20, 25 minutes, he was stinking up the joint, but he got that little Cruyff off, and then he remembered who he was. And I was like, good. And I love Trossard down. Like, one thing about me is I'm a part of the fan club, and I'm the only person in it. I love Trossard,
to be fair, but it's a sub thing, man.
Yeah, for sure. Because you like Trossard a lot more when you just like him for what he is. He's never going to be the answer for us long term. So if you think he's going to be the answer, you're going to be very, 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 very disappointed. But yep. I'm here for the bangers. I'm here for the goals. I'm here for that. Because one thing he's going to give us is that. Absolutely. So yeah, but the attack yesterday. Were you not entertained?
I mean, we won the game, innit? I wasn't expecting it because of what we've seen to be amazing. It's kind of on brand, man. You've got players that really haven't got the quality, fair weather players, down on their luck, not starters, not played with each other enough. We've got many problems that we've been discussing throughout this. I'm not really surprised, man. I'm not surprised Kai didn't score. I think that people are quite harsh on Raheem Sterling, but it wasn't anything to scream and shout about. And we've spoken about Trossard. It's same old. But careful, man. You've got someone in the chat say we're talking out both sides of our mouths. I don't know how we got there. You literally have to do that to talk. But fair play, mate. Fair play. Fair play.
I don't even see it. But yeah, like I think the attackers are obviously without confidence, but we all know that it's not good enough. Like at this stage in the season, you wouldn't really want to be fielding Sterling, Trossard, and Havertz at this stage. So we need to go out in the market and get something done. Arteta's tune has changed quite a bit.
A lot. Because you can't lie to us no more.
Yeah,
you can't do the whole
coming out. Yeah, Ornstein is saying we're doing something. He has
to
be careful. He has to be careful. Ornstein is always going to have a get out of jail free card. He's the ultimate talking head. So I know he has to be like, give himself a get out of jail free card, but he's also saying that we probably will do something. SESKO, Ornstein is saying that he's most likely going to stay. His agent is saying he's most likely going to stay. Arsenal wanted to offer like a loan with an option. That was the rumors out there. With SESKO off of the table, first of all, before we get into, who else can we go for? Is SESKO somebody? What is your feeling on SESKO? Because there's such a split in the fan base between he's the next Isak type signing that if we miss out, we've missed the boat, and he's ass. Where do you sit on him? Bring
him, sign him. He's gonna need it. I think there's a good base of potential there and quality, and I think within the next 2 years he'll really announce himself, whether he's at Arsenal or not. Bring him. I think he's got everything to be a good striker at this football club. Bring him. Fair enough, those that don't rate him, but bring him.
What are those qualities that you see like because when you look at his stats, obviously you see like 8 goals and 3 assists. For anybody that's just like never watched him, that's not impressive. So when you're watching with your eyes, what are the qualities that SESKO has that he brings to this club and makes us better?
I think he showed me that you're the modern forward. I think you're not necessarily the best in terms of dropping into midfield, but I think you can do that. I think you can work the channels. I think there's variety in the goals. I think you've got the physical qualities, the pace, the strength, the running power. I think you're almost not quite a blank canvas, but I think you've got a foundation that with some real coaching, you can go from being good to someone serious. And he's someone that his form does fluctuate, because at the beginning of the season, obviously stayed at Leipzig to continue his development. There's been times his name of Pender's been first choice. I like him, man. And do you know what? We need to get away from this. Obviously, if we sign him, it doesn't work. I'll hold the bants. But there was a time where everybody, if I said Isak, everyone and their nan would take Isak right now. There was a time Some man would rate Isaac. Some people would say he's a bum. I understand we need to kind of wait before players, you need to wait till players are ready. But it feels like we always wait till they're evidently of quality to start talking about them. The Gomaras is the Isaacs, the Kuduses, to a degree, Ademola Lookman, and we all know the clubs they're at. Bring him, man. Bring SESKO. The only problem I would say with SESKO is he can, I don't think it's him, but he can play out wide. And there might be a reality where, certain German internationals might play up front and certain man might go out wide. So, yeah, man, bring him for me, man.
Yeah, there's just I think a very obvious quality that he has. That one, the physical skills that he has, the physicality, like the athleticism, those types of things. Obviously, you can't make somebody have those.
And he wants to score goals, man.
Yeah, he wants to score goals. He's a natural goal scorer. His ball striking is something that if you're tired of watching weak, wobbly ankles, not locking their ankles and flubby shots, then you should want SESKO. I think he's not rapid, but he's not slow either. He's not quite an Isak where he doesn't have that creativity thing, like you said, but he's not like a Timberland boot type of, layoff kind of guy.
Enough to say you could do a thing in the Prem, man. Like you could do something in the Prem.
Yeah.
With some real work, you could do something.
Absolutely. And I think Arsenal are liars because they do take risks. They just take the wrong ones. And like Boy was saying earlier, he was saying we took a risk on Saliba because at the time it was all raw talent. There wasn't any data really out there to show. It was him and Fofana at Saint Etienne doing their thing, but it wasn't like they were, the stats were saying that they were the best. It was very much like you had to look at it and say this is going to be the next. And I think a lot of it was his physical kind of attributes are that of an elite center back because like nobody wants Lissandro Lannister in their team. Nobody would ever want this short guy at the back. You want tall center backs in the Prem. And so, like you just do. And so SESKO is kind of like that to me, where it's like the data is not going to say that he's a slam dunk, but not taking a risk and going for something more obvious or, whatever probably is not what we want to do here. I'm okay
when you look at it, just like the strikers and the center backs, like them positions are kind of weird because they get better with age, especially strikers. Right. They tend to peak a bit late. Now, I'm not saying everyone's going to work like this, but Kane wasn't the Kane he was at 18. People are getting onto Isaac. I remember the Athletic came out and said Isaac, Arsenal they like Isaac, but at the time when he's at Sociedad, there's not value for money. And that's the beautiful thing about football. Newcastle took that risk. It's fair to say his value is shot up. So I think it's a cop-out, man. Like, Isaac would be the dream. SESKO is quote-unquote realistic, maybe not in this window. And you got Mr. Gyökeres, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. says, I don't get why we are trying to loan players. PSR is mashing us up. I just think that Arsenal, again, are very reluctant to go big and take risks in some circumstances. They want everything pre-planned. They're very rigid. Too many lawyers saying, "Oh, well, if you get it wrong now, then what's going to happen?"
This lawyer, don't win it.
Sorry, but when that person, I was like, "Yes, too many lawyers. Get the football people back. I need shit. Bring me a risk taker." Maybe not Raul. We can't bring him back. But I mean, he did bring us Saliba. He would have risked it. He would have risked it. We may be bankrupt, but he would have risked it. And we might have won something,
Sometimes being too cautious is a risk. And like you said, we've taken risks. It just hasn't worked out. And every signing's a risk. Now, I'm not saying one player signed, it don't work, immediately sign another one. But if it doesn't work, you get another one. And then you get another one until it does, man. Like, yeah, man. I don't know for this. Where's this? Because I see a lot of people speaking about this loan thing. Is something come out that I'm not privy to?
I think because like maybe ORNSTEIN has said we're trying to loan people, and then also the rumor on SESKO was we wanted a loan with an option. And I think that maybe that's why they're saying that. Which, please, if I was Leipzig, I would lock the door on y'all so quick.
You'd block them. Like, you're wasting time. Like know he has a release clause. You spent the best part of chatting to him for over a year because you tried to get him in the summer. Yeah. We're trying to do what I'm doing mid-season. If you want him, put the P's down. We've got a discussion to make. If not, and that's the thing, like even with Zubamendi, like you're hearing that, well, we're prepared to pay a bit more to stagger out the payment. So maybe that's what we're trying to do with SESKO, and they're not trying to hear that right now.
Absolutely. So talk to me about Brian and Bomo. Link to him. Everybody on this channel knows how I feel about Brian. So yeah,
Just the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. And Buemo, if you wanted to sign for us, I personally drive you to the Emirates myself. Brentford are not letting you go in January. Come sign for Arsenal. You're contracted until 2026. We might be able to consider that in the summer. We're not getting him at this moment in time. As someone said there, Thomas Frank said no. Brentford clearly need him because then it's a knock-on effect. They're gonna have to get a replacement.
No.
Myth. He said no. Like it's just like with Ivan Toney, in which they don't even miss him. Ivan Toney said, "You're not going nowhere in January. The summer we deal with it." Brentford are clearly a very well-run club across all aspects. So you're not getting him in it. Like the only reality is you overpay for him, as Jess has said. For the best part of 40 minutes, explaining why that's a myth. It's a non-story, but I'm with you. Bring him, and like you said on my platform, what did you say? If he wasn't bald, many people would like him or something like that.
Yeah, if he wasn't bald, people would rate him. When you're bald, you just are thrown into like a little dumpster. It's like, oh, he can't be all that good, When Gabriel had no hair, people were calling him a bozo. Now he has a nice little fade, and people are like, yeah, he's much better. Brian with hair would be one of the best players in the league because he is. He's one of the best, especially outside the top 6. But
bring him.
Yeah,
get right to send him a message, man.
For people that are, saying bring in the comment section, is it bring for January or is it bring no matter what? Because because sometimes you look at a player and you're like, when you're desperate, anything looks good. You're like, bring.
Hungry, everything on the table looks amazing.
But would you want him out like outside of the January window? I think I'd take him anyway because but I know some people are like, just bring. So
no. I'd want him. I'd want him in the summer. I'd still want us to. I know he plays up front and plays in other roles, but if they were to sign SESKO and Mbuemo, I wouldn't be jumping for joy. But I'd say, you know what, you've done your thing. Bring him in the summer. Of course, I would love to sign him in January, just like many other players to save our season and whatnot. But yeah, it's not gonna happen, is it?
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot. Arsenal have a big task on their hands to find somebody that is within whatever parameters that they're looking for, that like a team would actually want to part with, because most of the players that people want to leave in January are not very good players. So yeah, they have their work cut out for them. Do you know anything about this Knife?
What?
So Arsenal been linked to this guy named Knifan. I
pull it on screen, man. Or message his name, man. Who? Nathan? Nathan?
Not Nathan. Not Nathan. Hold on. I'm gonna bring it up because I don't even know. Some of these young players, I'm like,
someone's that Norwegian lad.
Yeah, Naipan.
For what I've seen, he looks good. Clearly, very good technically. David ORNSTEIN has spoken about him. I think he's played about 60 odd times for his club. I think he's decent, but I don't look at you as a level raiser at this moment in time. You seem like one of those players. You get in, you develop. Obviously, they could be sold for a profit. And to be fair, the club could get Martin Odegaard to chat to him. I like him, but we need guys that are going to do this thing right now. I can't say that would be him.
You know what I will say about stuff like this is I think these types of deals should be getting done regardless of where we're at.
You have it.
Yeah, we are so one-track minded, and I feel like Edu didn't bring this up, but when he left, the rumors were coming out that he wanted to, plant roots basically in Brazil and have us, but he was told no, which answers the question of why we never got anybody. I'm like, surely we'll get a Brazilian talent. We didn't do that. Arteta mentioned
came back with Marquinhos, man. Crazy.
With Marcus. Yeah. You know Marquinhos. But Arteta also spoke about the multi-club thing and how we don't have that. We are very limited in how we get our talent. We don't have a feeder club from another club in Europe.
That man don't want to do it. They don't want to be. They're not forward thinking like that. Because again, I've said this. You look at Chelsea, look at City. I think everyone's going to need that at some point, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we don't want to use our rivals as a blueprint. I do think we're pretty far behind when it comes to recruitment and I think the academy, the
You got to
loan
pay for that.
system. Yeah.
It's self-sustaining over here.
Yeah, exactly. So, like Shamaria is saying, I think we'll get a project number 10. And I think this player, not knowing a lot about him, would kind of fit in that. I wouldn't be upset if we brought in I would love for us to bring in 3 or 4 of these types of players if we have to loan them out, whatever, and know that they're out there in Europe getting experience.
Even if it don't work, you buy them for 10 million and it turns into 30, keep it moving.
100%. But this will not, make people feel good about what we're doing now, which is the exact same thing with the Zubamendi thing. It's like, yeah, but that's for the summer. It needs to get done regardless, but that's not what people want to hear right now.
Exactly.
But if he's talented, bring.
But crucially, as you said, you should be doing that in conjunction with players that are ready right now. For me, anyways.
100%.
17, 18, like it's a bit.
17, 18, and then also Arsenal fans. I'm gonna hold your hand, when I say this.
Where we go with this?
Please stop asking what's gonna happen to Wanyeri and Max Dowman if we bring in so-and-so. Can you stop with the nonsense? What's the pathway? Just bring more talent in, please.
Only the strongest survive. Of course, some players go missing and things like that, but that's life, man. If you're talented, generally, it'll be all right, man. It'll be all right. Naturally, all clubs are going to fumble. Like what? Chelsea got more players than we can count in their academy, players in their first team, and players that are dotted elsewhere. I'm sure they didn't want to lose Musiala. They did. We obviously lost my man to Man United. It's going to happen. Like, it is what it is in this regards, man. Like, they'll be all right, and you can't have it both ways. You can't say halfway this, that, and still want a bigger squad and us to sign players before they're stars. Like, you gotta give and take. For me, anyways.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree. Bro Pro says also Rodrigo, we will love you better than them.
Would love him, but come
That's
on,
the
man.
dream,
I do look at the rumors about Rodrigo's been dropped. I do somewhat sit to myself and dream that he'll be the one Real Madrid will sell. Could it be Ozil or Alexis Sanchez V2? But are we going to put down the money for him? He's immediately, surely, if we were to sign him, going to be our highest earner. And surely, if he was available to Premier League clubs, you're going to have Chelsea involved. You're going to have City involved. You're probably even going to have Man United even involved. I don't know if our pockets are that deep, man.
Yeah, I mean that would be the dream. I say like creative winger, like any combination, like Saka Rodrigo wing partnership.
Brazilian, man. Left wing 10. Bro, Rodrigo is amazing. Amazing.
I wouldn't buy another defender for 3 or 4 windows if that meant that we could get Rodrigo, but it's just not feasible. We don't have the facilities, we don't have the capacity.
Levels. Exactly.
Burmese says, Jazz DG, besides the injury contributing to his performances, do you think Saka's absence is causing him to underperform? I think you're talking about Odegaard.
Yeah, but I think Odegaard, if I'm honest, you need to pull your finger out, bro. Like, I'm never looking at Odegaard to be tenacious and whatever, but like, and I know we talk about leading by example and all of that. Bro, there's no excuse for you with your ability not to control games a bit more. I know Arteta's got you doing tactics and all of that kind of crap, but your influence on their game, like I'm talking about your influence. Odegaard just needs to, I hate to use this, but for me, just man up a bit in it and do this thing because I've seen you do it before. Of course, you're gonna miss this. You're gonna miss Saka. Of course, that right hand side is a problem. That was a source for us, but I just think he needs to pull his finger out. Just man, I can't lie. It's a contributing factor, but like he just needs to man up a bit. Absolutely. Respectfully.
I agree with that. I'll always defend Odegaard, but
as we should.
I need to see more. Yeah. Lamar, thank you so much for your super chat. Says, is it a good sign that we're second considering the injuries as well as the Bozo red cards?
Depends if you want to find positives, really and truly. It shows the progress we've come, like in that we're still moaning about the same things, but the season's not all over. But it's a missed opportunity, and really and truly, what does second mean? Like, what does it does? I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything, but what does it mean? Because that doesn't lift up anything, really. If you're confident about the champs and you're confident that Arsenal will go on an unbelievable run and Liverpool drop more points, fair enough. It just shows the opportunity that we've wasted, in my opinion.
Yeah. The second, considering I was saying this on Mo's show earlier, I was like, for the narratives around both clubs for this season, for us to be anywhere near Liverpool and for our title hopes not to be completely dead in the water, I think is interesting, but it only highlights how disappointing it would be to see Arsenal do nothing in this window, because there will be a moment where Liverpool drop just enough points where it gets real close and it'll slip from our fingers. We are not in a position to take advantage of any further slips from Liverpool.
And
We don't
nothing can
have
go
it.
wrong for us now as well, which we're not going to win every game from now to the end of the season.
Exactly. Look how
Hope I'm
unlucky. I
wrong.
mean, yeah, we don't. It's like we don't generate enough luck, and everything kind of like anything on a knife's edge goes against us right now because we just don't have enough wiggle room. We don't have anything to like save us or help us right now. So yeah, being in second right now is frustrating more than anything, because it's like if we had just beaten Everton, a really shit side at home, we'd have 2 more points.
It's just
You
like
know, if
last
we
season,
didn't
man. It's
shit
just
the
coulda,
bed
woulda,
at
shoulda.
Fulham, we'd have 2 more points. All the draws, come on, you know, it's more frustrating than anything, but y'all got to thank Gabriel and those guys for it, because they're the reason why we're in second.
How do you think the owners feel then? Because, like, as you just said, that it made me think. Like, obviously, I can criticize Mikel Arteta and think whether he's the guy or not, but I think you and the players want to win trophies. How you're going about it's another thing. But the Cronkies might say, "Oh, you know what? All things considered, we're on course to get Champions League football." Which, for me, before a ball was kicked, rightly or wrongly, Arteta was given a new deal. I don't think the owners want to win like that where football's concerned. But how do you feel? What does that comment kind of make you feel then?
I mean, I feel like it all goes back into the bucket of them always thinking of the best case scenario. You know, their best case scenario is they'll look at it and say, well, why is everybody panicking? We're second. Yeah, because we're not going to win any trophies. We want more of like, nothing is certain, but right now it's like everything is just too up in the air.
Have we
You know, you
controlled the
really can't
controllables?
yeah, exactly. And so this does play into the Cronkies' hands, but I do think, you know, if we were second and Saka was fit, Ornstein would be saying, don't expect anything.
Yeah. But that
You
as
know,
well, yeah. Like, even with everybody fit, a lot of us Arsenal fans still wanted a winger and a striker. And I know the club isn't exactly coming out and saying this, but when I'm doing when we're doing content with you, with the likes of yourself or other people, or I'm doing my own thing, when I read the Daily Mail or all of these articles and they say, oh, but Gabriel Jesus' injury has forced a hand, it's a bit, it don't really make me optimistic. It's like, are you what is really going on here? Like, it's not, you don't really want to win things like that or put
yeah,
your best foot forward. Sporting success isn't the be all and end all at this club, which I know I hate to refer to it, but clubs are a business. I know I'm not even necessarily in jest against the self-sustaining model. It's just I don't think the owners want to win. I think Mikel Arteta has done a lot of good and he's done a lot of shaky things and been very naive. And we'd really have to, I think we'd have to flunk a league really or be next to perfect. And the footballing gods would have to give us a Leicester type season. I don't think the
yeah,
owners step into this wanting to win things. So it just
yeah.
feels like another missed opportunity, man.
It's actually a like not a concern, but like just it underlines everything when you watch the likes of Nottingham Forest, a team that could very well be in a Leicester situation right now, try to be active in the window. Aston
Look at
Villa,
their owner. He's in the tunnel in that. I know Josh was there, but like
yeah.
it's different over there.
That
Like
guy, that Greek guy gives a shit. He cares.
literally,
He cares
literally.
bad. He cares real bad. He wants that. And
And he's got bear clubs, so that's a football man like that.
yeah, he wants
How many
that.
football clubs the Cronkies got? I think they got I think they got Colorado Rapids. I don't know what happened there, or if that's still going on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, they have that. They have the Rams.
they care
Um,
about the Rams and all
yeah,
them
they have
other
the
things though,
Nuggets,
man.
you know, so they have multiple clubs or multiple franchise, whatever, but it's over here. It's frustrating because it's like everybody else, like City, are buying up everybody in like 20 minutes. We're the most unserious, but we have the most to gain because we're probably the one team that you can look at and say, if they get an attacker, they could probably go. I only see us. I don't really see it. And maybe City if they do their nonsense, because you could see them do nonsense. I don't see Forest staying on the
But
pace the
even to
whole
say
time.
what you said
I
about
don't
City,
see.
they've kind of given up. Just like obviously it could be mind games, but
Yeah.
Holden and them players, they keep Bernardo Silva and all them. They keep coming out and saying, "Oh, this is a write-off, really." It's a missed
Yeah,
opportunity, man. Like at
absolutely.
best, you know, we were there, like, you know what, City are great, but if there's ever a fall off, which no one predicted this, we should be the team taking advantage. It's Liverpool, which no one was credit to them. No one was talking about them winning the Prem. And the problem now is, yeah, Liverpool are not perfect. They're gonna drop points, but they're head and shoulders above everyone else. And that's before me looking purely at Arsenal. Can we go on a run? We've got it all to do it. It would make for a great all or nothing if you go to Anfield and win and you go on a faultless run, but real life is scary, man. It's not a fairy tale. Because right now, it's like Coach Carter or Mighty Ducks. If you haven't watched those movies, you go and watch it and watch the ending. That's what we
Yeah.
are. It kills me that's what we are. Unfortunately, it's a Netflix thing. It's next season. People say things like, oh, if we have a good window, this, that, and the other. It's unfortunate, man, because we're fumbling it. And how long before we need to, you know, the players that are half decent sit there and go, you know what? Big up Arsenal. I liked it here, but I need to win some trophies because, again, I don't think these players are going to be together for like 10 years. But when you've got the majority of these guys that are like as young as Lewis-Skelly, about 18, all the way to about 23, 24-ish, it's easy for them to buy into it. Once you start hitting 26 and these kind of ages like Gabriel Magalhaes, and you're thinking, oh, retirement's not that far away. What have I done with my life from a footballing perspective? Conversations and uncomfortable conversations are going to be had, Jess, man. It's peak.
Absolutely. It's yeah. They're just giving off that unserious stench, and I'm just like, y'all reek. You
Yeah.
smell so bad. Please.
And look what Josh was saying before, like at the start of the season. We're not going to rest on our laurels. We want to win a Premier League.
I'm
Fair
not trying
enough.
to hear none of that.
None
Show
of that,
me.
man.
Yeah, show
That's
me.
where
Y'all
we're at now.
talk.
Show us.
Yeah, you guys are good at talking. I'll tell you that. Y'all
Bare
can,
lip
yeah,
service.
I do not listen to you guys at all. So last but not least, before we get out of here, Aston Villa at the weekend. How you feeling? Are you feeling more confident about the game now? Because we beat a really shit Spurs. So I don't really take anything from that game and think that it's gonna translate to this Villa game. You know how Emery is. This is his cup final.
You've
This is
any sort of happiness, you've just sucked it right out just because Emre's a villain. Since we've dealt with him,
yeah.
he's done us dirty, innit? And obviously, I don't want to say I was looking past the North London derby and all of that, but like you said, there's shit. We should be just winning, keeping it moving. Villa are a good team, and we saw last season. Let's just hope in it. It is what it is. Of course, naturally, I'm a bit biased and excited because we won the North London derby, but it's a different kind of game with some scary players, man. It is what it is. They might be in poor form, but Brighton was struggling before they bucked us.
Yeah.
Like,
Newcastle as well. We reignited their season. If you
this is what I'm
need
saying.
something, just wait for Arsenal and you'll get
This is
something.
what I'm saying. And at the Emirates, it's been filled with a lot of drama. So, I'm not really that optimistic. I'm not like, woe is me. I feel sorry for myself. We can't play, but I can't say I'm confident of a great performance, but I hope we can win, man. I'd take a point, even though obviously you want to get free. But if we drew, I wouldn't be the maddest because I'm actually quite shook of Aston Villa. Really, can't lie to you.
Not shook.
I'm shook, man. Like Villa, they're called the villains for a reason, you know. Like it's scary. Even the game at their place. Let's be honest, we stunk up the place. Trossard nicked it. We kept it moving. We're gonna have to be good, man. I'm scared. I can't lie. I'm kind of scared. Now that you're making me think about it, I'm a bit nervous, man.
The one thing that gives me a little bit of, is as long we're in it, as long as everybody like that we can count on is playing decent. Odegaard coming into a little bit of more decent form. Partey looked all right. Rice looking like he's recovered from the toe in that back line. That gives me a little bit of like, I don't know what's going to happen up front. I have no clue.
And see, there you have it, Jess. Ultimately, that's what wins the games. Like I know some Arsenal fans want to sit here and we got a bag of possession and bare shots and this and that. Fine margins. Ultimately, goals win games, Jess, man. And we don't know. It's a bag of randoms.
Yeah, we really don't. But
I'm scared now, man.
Because
you're making me do the maths. Like, I'm scared. You know what? Whenever match day comes, like just before kickoff, I get that stage where I'm like, fuck it, it is what it is. But you're making me a bit nervous now. When you asked me the question, I answered it was cool. But now I'm doing the maths. I'm getting nervous.
You know what? The only team that we ever play against that I get really scared of, but right before the game, is freaking Liverpool. That's the only team. That's the only team that I'm like, this is about to be
I'd say Fulham have recent as well, to be fair.
Because every time they get the ball, I think they're going to score.
And Liverpool at Anfield, I'm scared,
Yeah, I'm scared.
And we got to go there and get a result.
Everything else, I'm like, whatever. They're the only team that I'm like, Salah, I have nightmares. I have real nightmares.
We should
So
have beat them at the Emirates.
yeah, and we should have beat them at the Emirates. And that's my thing. They're the best team that we could have possibly played, and we should have beat them at the Emirates. So everybody else is a little bit more like, I know we're going to get our chances. Will we put them away? I don't know. Villa will probably score, but we'll see. We'll see how we
You know
do.
what? Let's be optimistic. You know what? Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 1. Kai Havertz gonna bag, man. Let me do the optimistic thing, man. Let's you know what? Let's talk it into existence.
Yeah, for sure. But when Morgan Rogers picks up that ball and runs right past all of our players, give me shit pants then.
Emre, come do us this solid, Emre, man. Come on. Once a Guna, always a Guna. Emre, allow us, man.
For
Come
real,
on.
I can't. Yeah. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go for like I'm sorry, we're gonna win 2-1. Whatever. So
They owe us, man. It's been a terrible period, man. They owe us, man. They owe us.
Absolutely. Guys,
we got
make
City
sure
coming up at the end of the month as well, or the 2nd of February. So, oh Lord, it's getting
City
real.
at home. You know what it is about the City games is they're never really like it's both teams trying not to lose. So those games don't worry me as much. Yeah, it's the Liverpool game where they're running at us all hard and shit, and I'm just like, this is scaring me. So
scaring me thinking about it now. You know what?
As long as Yover is fit, we'll probably be able to win a game or two.
And Gary Neville just won't shut the hell up, man. You lot stop listening to Gary Neville. It doesn't affect me. He's just paid to talk nonsense. He's not an Arsenal man. What do they want us to do? Not try and take advantage of corners? As all the issues we spoke about this stream and all us Arsenal fans, imagine our defenders weren't scoring and Hover wasn't doing his job from set pieces. How much worse would it be? Allow it, man. What do you want us not to do? What do they want us to do? Allow it, man. Because if United was scoring from set pieces, he'd be gassy. He'd be the first to gas it and say it's all innovative and allow it, Gary Neville, man. Just shut up.
Absolutely. There should actually be a lot more written from a positive standpoint about what Yover is doing, because it is innovative and it is kind of new to football to be this good at set pieces. But because it's Arsenal, they're just, set piece FC. Oh, dark arts, they must be cheating.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. They move like it's cheating. Like, if anything, get onto Mikel Arteta, because you've employed a set piece coach. The set piece coach is doing his job. I do think, unpopular opinion, defensively from corners, I think he needs to do his job a bit more. But in attack, says he's doing what he needs to do, man. The hell are we talking about here?
Yeah, so guaranteed a set piece, but other than that, I don't know. Like I was telling you guys before, the post-match for the Villa game will be just a wee bit delayed because I'm actually going to Cosm to watch the game. So it's going to take me a minute to get back, even though it's like really close. I did a show with Mo this morning. Make sure you guys check that out. We also did a show on Deluded's channel talking about, I actually think the shows are quite different. So please,
for once, innit? Yeah, for once.
Yeah, they were different. Yeah, so
yeah, that actually was.
Yeah, so go back and watch that. Deluded, how can they get to your channel?
I don't know if I'm in the title, but if I'm in the title, just click that or just type in Deluded Guna. I mean, half the time I go through my comments, you're either, your name's perfect, you are deluded, or you're not so deluded. But yeah, man, as Jess said, it's a completely different show. Yeah, man, go support it, man. And make sure you subscribe to this very platform, man. Jess is on form.
Thank you guys so much. And make sure you guys, I never really asked you guys to follow me on other platforms, but I am trying some new content on Instagram and TikTok, if we even have that.
Yeah, you do a lot of fashion kind of TikToks. I see them. I'm like, I didn't even know Jess was into this kind of stuff, like footballers fits and all that.
Yeah, so if you guys can follow me over there at Jessica Black TV, I'd really appreciate it. I work really hard on those videos. They take a lot of hours. So please help.
Just hit the like button on all of that, man. It doesn't cost anything to support the platforms, man. Just hit the like. People are trying, people are trying.
Absolutely. But yeah, you guys, I will see you guys after Aston Villa, and make sure you guys check out the other shows and Deluded's channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. Peace.